Michael, first of all, any injury updates, fitness of the squad?
So new one obviously last came off towards the end of the game, so we're just seeing how he is, assessing him today and see whether he'll make it or not. So he's in the medical team with the medical team at the moment, and then others is as normal.
I suppose looking back at the game, you must be pleased to show the fighting spirit within the squad already in your third game.
Yeah, I think they were good at that. We talked about that. They had good character to come back. I think it's always tough when you go behind and to push the game and get a point. It was good. And then, I thought that was a major plus point for me, seeing that character. And I've seen that quite a few times over the last few games, so I know they've got that in abundance, really.
Much has been made in the media, I suppose, of your youth training, your route through into management through a lot of youth teams. How important is that to your vision here at Lincoln City?
I think it's part of it. I think there's a lot of experience in that, which is good. I actually started off coaching a senior team, was when my first journey in the National League. So I actually started at the other end and then went into the sort of 21s and younger age groups with the elite performers. But I think it's just a blended mix. So I can help the young players here, but I think all of it really, coaching is coaching and can help the old players, the young players alike, really.
We've seen academy players in the squad not necessarily getting on, but we've seen them in the squad, giving them that experience. Of course, McCarmer making the starting 11 at the team. Is it important to give those players the match day experience as well in their development? Yeah,
I think as if we can, we always want to support the academy players and the youth players to get experiences of what first team football feels like. And then when their time is right and they can get some minutes, that's important for the team. And then, like you said, with Jovan, getting on the pitch and starting, I thought he did really well, and just shows you it's a process. It's a slower process than we'd all like, but Jovan's getting there and has had a couple of good performances now.
We've seen obviously the youth players impressing out on loan. Freddie Draper, I'm sure you're aware of. Charlie Kendall as well. I think he got a hat trick the other week. How important are you keeping half an eye on them in January as opposed to what your plans are? Or are you just going to let them, in terms of from a managerial perspective, develop?
Yeah, we have a really good team here, so we have a group of staff that keep an eye on them. I get clips of them, so yes, keep an eye on them from afar because we have the same match days. Tom Shaw as an assistant is very linked in with all that, so yeah, we've definitely got an eye on all of our sort of players out on loan, and I think most of them, if not all of them, are doing really well and they're progressing, which is great to see.
I suppose another point of having that ability of having the youth players in the squad is that it gives the more experienced players a chance to rest when they might need a bit of time off. Having that faith in the young players almost might improve the older players as well because they're able to perform at a better ability in the other games.
Yeah, they're not that old. they can keep going. So sometimes yes, but it's important to get that blend right. It's important to get the mix of when we do that right because you need senior players on the pitch. You need senior players who are experienced. And some of the players here, like Jacko and Ethan Harrison and Hordy, they're all senior players that need to play because they're experienced.
I mean, your top scorer at the moment is a right wing back in Lars Sorensen, who's also the top assist maker. Do you feel like that lack of almost a focal point is affecting how you want to play, or are you kind of adapting that and kind of changing how you play into these matches just because you don't have that main number 9 really at the moment?
Well, we have Jovan and we have Jack Vale, and I think they'll start chipping in with goals if we keep progressing and having the ball higher. I think Lass has got a lot of goals on the counter-attack, which shows his strength and his qualities. But I think if we can sustain a bit more possession in the attacking half, I think you'll see some more players chipping in with goals. And then Danny, like his penalty, and could have probably got one or two others. So if we can keep progressing and having a bit more ball in their half, I think you'll see other players chipping in, especially the number 9s with goals.
You're 2 weeks in now, pretty much. How do you feel like the squad are adapting to how you perform, how you train, that kind of thing? How is the atmosphere in the dressing room?
Yeah, the atmosphere is good. They're good, honest lads. They're working really hard. Like I said before, it's a bit of a whirlwind from game to game to game, and you don't get much time on the training pitch other than the match plan and recovery. Again, today we've had to prepare for Cambridge, so it's a very short training session. So not much work really other than trying to prepare them to win the next game.
You've spoken before of your belief and your wish to push Lincoln up the table. Is a game like Cambridge United a really good chance to almost have that statement of intent to say that we can beat these sides where it might be difficult on a wet Tuesday night?
I think it's going to be very difficult. I think Cambridge are probably not in a position they want to be with their run of results, but last year I think we got beat by Cambridge, so there's no easy game. I think you can get caught on the counter attack and they're very fast on the counter. and they've got two experienced centre halves in Michael Morrison and Ryan Bennett, who are very strong defenders. So I think it's going to be a really tough game, but I think if we have ambitions to keep pushing, I think it's a game that we have to go and get some points out of away from home.
What do you make of the season so far? Obviously, they started off the season, got wins at Oxford United, who of course are doing very well. A point against Portsmouth not too long ago, but they have struggled recently. I think no win in the last 3, maybe 4. What do you expect them to come out fighting, or do you reckon that the morale within the squad's a bit down? A bit like
I think they'll come out fighting. I think they're at home. They'll have the crowd behind them. It's going to be a tight pitch. It's going to be a tough game. It's probably going to have a different feel to it than Leyton Orient than Barnsley. Probably more like Stevenage in one way. So I think it's going to be a really tough game where we've got to be really focused and really concentrating on sort of the horrible bits of the game first and be competitive in the early start. But I think it's going to be a really tough game. It's not going to be an easy place to go because, like you say, I think they're going to be really up for it and they're going to want to get their 3 points on the board.
Is that what you're looking for it almost to be a bit of a dirty match, a bit of a struggle instead of that eloquent style of play that a lot of managers trying to develop in sort of that?
No, I think it will be what it will be. Every game has a story, as I say. So I think it will be what it will be. But I think any going away from home, you're going to have to fight for every ball. You're going to have to fight for second balls. So whether we'll work our way into the game, and when it's our time to have the ball, see if we can do some damage in their half. But it's going to be a very physical contest to start off with.